This one right here is the Xiaomi Redmi 14C, a budget smartphone that you can already get for 150 euros, and it's definitely one of the best looking smartphones that you can get in that price range. So today we will check out the battery life, specs and the design, all of the features, but let's start with the unboxing. Alright, so the first thing you will see once you open up the box is the Redmi 14C. As you can see, I have it in the sage green version, but you can also grab this one in the colors purple, blue and black. And this green version I have right here even has a vegan leather backside. All the other ones come with the glass backside. Further down you will find some of the paper stuff, a SIM pin and a USB Type A to USB Type C cable. So no case and no charging brick. As for the specs and the design, right here we have a smartphone with a huge 6.88-inch display, and overall this phone is 17.2 centimeters long. This is even longer than the iPhone 16 Pro Max. You will get a glass front and a plastic frame, and the phone weighs in at 203 grams, which is definitely not that light. But considering the size of this phone, it's also not that heavy. You have this pretty polished plastic frame and a vegan leather backside, which feels great. It makes the phone a bit grippier and makes it look more premium, and in combination with the super stylish circular 50 megapixel camera which you have on the backside, which by the way also has a cool pattern, I think this is one of the prettiest smartphones that you can get. Like I said, you will get a 6.88-inch LCD display with a refresh rate of 120Hz, which you can also trim down to just 60Hz. The Redmi 14C lights up with a peak brightness of 600 nits, which isn't too much, and you will have a hard time reading the screen in sunlight. But at least you can watch movies in a decent quality. You have a resolution of 720 by 1640 pixel, and your colors look alright. Since you don't have an OLED display, you won't get those dark blacks, and the contrast isn't that best as well. And another thing I don't really like about this phone are the bezels. I guess you can live with the bezels on the side and the top, even though they're bigger than on other usual smartphones. But the one thing that really annoys me is the big fat lip that you got on the bottom of your display. Your viewing angles stay pretty much the same if you tilt your phone to the side, and you can also adjust the color scheme. By default it is set to vivid, but you can also change it to saturated or standard, and then you can also adjust the color temperature. You have a reading mode, which is the blue filter of this phone. It adjusts the colors and textures of the items on your screen, allowing your eyes to relax. As for the audio, I mean, the phone does get loud, but the quality of the sound isn't the best. If you turn the volume all the way up, it has this little metallic sound to it. There's no Dolby Atmos support, but you will get an equalizer with a few presets, and there's even a 3.5mm headphone jack on the top end of your smartphone, which I always like to see. Next up we have the battery life, and the Redmi 14C comes with a large 5160 mAh battery, which lasts about 20 hours on continuous video streaming. This is more than you can watch on a whole weekend. Just the charging speed isn't the fastest. You got 18 watts wired charging, and a full charge takes about 90 minutes. Also, there's no wireless and no reverse wireless charging. Alright, up to the features, and the Xiaomi Redmi 14C runs on HyperOS based on Android 14, and you'll get a fingerprint sensor on the side button, which works good with next to no delay, and you also have a face detection, which always takes a second longer than a fingerprint sensor, but both are very good. You got stuff like a one-handed mode, which really comes in handy with such a big smartphone. You have different gesture controls, like you can double tap the screen to turn it off and on. You can double press the side button to launch the camera, but you can also just double tap this button to open up your calculator, activate the silent mode, or to take a screenshot. But you can also just take a screenshot if you swipe down on your display with your 3 fingers. You have parental controls and even a guest mode, which is basically the second space that we know from other phones. You got a few safety and emergency features like the emergency SOS, crisis, earthquake and unknown alerts, and you have lots of wallpapers, even though the designs are very basic and you have no AI shenanigans. As well as this phone comes with either 128 or 256 gigabytes of internal storage, and about 22 gigs are already used up by the system and some other system files, which is quite a lot. By the way, if you like my content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. You will also find a link to the smartphone down below in the description. Now over to the gaming and the performance. The Redmi 14C runs on the MediaTek Helio G81 Ultra, which doesn't do the best job in my opinion. Just scrolling around on your display, or if you want to open up apps, this feels a bit clunky and not smooth at all for most of the time. You got some lags and delays, and I would almost compare it to my Samsung Galaxy A15, which has some similar problems. Also, gaming doesn't feel that good. Even if you enable the game turbo, you can still not play games like Genshin Impact. Maybe a little bit on the lowest graphic settings, but you will get a lot of lags with some medium and high graphic settings. You will even experience lags while you're just in the loading screen, which is definitely not a good sign. By the way, you can also turn on the D&D mode with the game toolbar, take screenshots and screen record. There's a timer and a few more features. Lastly, I got the camera. Like I said, the circular camera looks just great. You have a 50 megapixel main camera, but no optical image stabilization, which makes it super hard to take some steady shots, and even harder if you zoom in on something. And you have a 5 megapixel depth camera. Now on the front you will get a 13 megapixel selfie cam, and this one, just like the back camera, can shoot videos in 1080p and 30 fps. That's the maximum, and there's no ultra wide angle camera. You will also get a few camera modes like a portrait mode with a face retouch feature, time-lapse, night mode, and you have the 50 megapixel mode. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of the pictures. First up, you have no OIS, which makes it super hard to take good quality photos, and even if you take some steady shots, the quality of the pictures isn't the best. I guess they are good enough for some quick snaps from your vacation, or if you want to send yet another cat picture to your girlfriend, but that's it. The detail level of your photos is pretty low, there is not a lot of contrast, and it feels like colors are a bit oversaturated. If you take the picture, the colors don't look like the finished result in your photo gallery. You can also zoom in a bit with a max of 10x zoom, but I will stick to just a normal 1x zoom, maybe 2x, but that's really the maximum. Even pictures with a 2x zoom don't look that good anymore. The selfie cam is doing a little bit better, and portrait shots look decent, but you don't have that nice depth of field like with other cameras. I guess since this one is a 150 euro smartphone, you can't expect too much out of it, and therefore it is doing a decent job. But there are some other smartphones in the same price range which are doing a much better job. If you want to see any of these ones, just click right here to get to that video. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more tech reviews. And I guess with that one being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.